All right, when you log into your Tinkercad, you're going to have your home screen. You're going to find the blue button that says Create. You're going to click Create. You're going to go to 3D Design. Click 3D Design. And you get a blank work plane. Hit the blue button. Says Create. Go to 3D Design. Blue button. Select 3D Design. So again, I do not care which shape you do. The very first thing you need to do is choose your shape. All of these are going to be a rectangle. The second thing you need to do is come down to the bottom where it says Settings. Click, yes ma'am. I'm sorry? I can't hear you. Let me start over since the big screen, the smart board was locked on something else. When you get into Tinkercad, you're going to go to Create.
Hurry up, bro.
Click Create. Click 3D Design. Come down to Settings. 3, 2, 1. Put your phones in the phone bag now. You're not the one I'm talking to. Come down to Settings in the bottom right corner. Click Settings. Change your units because all of these measurements are in inches.
Not in millimeters.
All of the measurements on the drawing are in inches. So you click Settings, go to Units, select Inches, and then click Make Default. Then you close your settings. And if you look down here, it should say 1/8 of an inch. Now, all of these, if you take a look at these measurements, all these measurements, the lowest measurement is 1/4, is in force. So instead of doing the conversions from 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, change an eighth, click here, and change it to 1/4. All right, so we just did settings, changed it to inches, measurement to inches, and we did a snap grid. We changed our snap grid to 1/4 of an inch. The reason I'm suggesting 1/4 of an inch, it'll be easier for you to estimate how far off do I put this through hole. From the edge, how far do I put this opening for this puzzle piece? How do I do both of these items in drawing number 3? All of these start off with a rectangle. All of these start off with a rectangle. So we're going to grab a square, line it up.
Let me grab my square. I need a square for real.
I'm gonna work on number 3. You can work on whichever one you want.
All right.
So now that you have your square, remember the cone shape will, if you click it and hold it, it'll raise an item up and down. The very center square tells you how tall something is. The ones on the side will tell you width and height. So according to this drawing, my top needs to be 1 inch. So I'm going to click here, and I want to change this, and that's not the right one. I want to change this one. This one's, it's already at 1 inch, so I don't have to do anything with that. Now it's 2 inches tall, and it's 2 inches wide. So I'm going to click on the height, click in the box, change that to 2, hit enter. And then down here on my front, on the width, you'll notice this is the width, this is the depth. I want to change the width because the depth is only 1 inch. So I'm going to change that to 2. And if you rotate it on the corner, just like your drawing is here, I can see that it's the same size and I'm going the same shape. Now, I have these 2 items that go all the way through. These are called through holes. One's a square, one's a circle. You remember when we worked on Tinkercad? These items right here represent holes, openings. I'm going to work on making this one first. So I'm going to take a look at my picture, and I am 1/4 of an inch up off the ground. So I'm going to take this, hold it, and I'm going to go up 1/4. I can tell that my opening is 3/4 of an inch tall, so I need to change this to 3/4. And it's only a 1/2 inch wide. I just clicked on the square, and then I clicked where the number is, and I, huh?
You gotta change the height.
The height, yeah, right here. Well, the height, you don't have to, the height is 3/4 of an inches.
The height, yeah.
Yeah. So I changed that by hitting this center square right here.
Can I put 0.75 in there too?
Yes. So you're gonna have to type your measurements in fractions. So what is 1/4 of an inch? It is 0.25. A 1/2 an inch is what? 0.50.
So how you get the other one?
Which other one, honey?
Yeah, how you get it here like that?
I'm supposed to make it smaller.
And you gotta make this small. Ain't you like you said?
Make it thinner. How you make it thinner?
So I made it smaller. I click the, you click on the item and then you click in the boxes.
Yeah. And what you supposed to put there?
So I'm going to check my measurements. The space, this space right here is supposed to be a 1/2 inch wide. That's a 1/2 inch wide. It's supposed to be 3/4 of an inch tall.
Well, okay, we get
3/4 of an inch tall. And it's supposed to be a 1/2 inch up from the base.
You said a 4th.
No, a 1/2 inch up, or a 1/4 inch, yes, I'm sorry. And it's a 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. So since we snapped the grid to automatically 1/4 of an inch, it's gonna snap in 1/4 of an inch. So watch. I'm gonna grab my item, and there it is. If I go one more over, it's gonna be right on the wall, because we've locked our ratio in, we've locked our grid in to be 1/4 of an inch. So now I'm going to do my cylinder. I'm going to grab a cylinder. You can do this whatever you prefer. You can do this in one of two ways when you have to do a circle. You can either rotate it first and then do the measurements, or you can do the measurements and then rotate it. Doesn't make a difference. Right there.
You gotta do the same thing?
Yeah, I'm doing number 3. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate it
How much?
90 degrees. Yeah. Now I'm going to look, so let's see. My diameter is 1/2 inch. And it is, got to do some math here, it's 1/2 inch away from the top, which is from the top of the object, which is 2 inches tall. So what's 1/2 minus 2? If I take 1/2 inch out of 2 inches, how many inches do I have to go up? 1.5. Quarter, there's 1/2, there's 3/4, there's 1/4, 1/2. But my cylinder shape is too big. So I need to make that 1/2 inch. So everything's going to be 1/2 inch. I'm going to click here. 0.5. I'm going to click here. 0.5. Oh, I didn't want to do that one. Put that one back to 1 inch. I want to click here and do 0.5. Now I have a cylinder. Now, the cylinder is 1/2 inch away from the edge and 1/2 inch away from the top. You can tell that by looking at your drawing. So I'm going to drag it over here. I'm going to look at my front. Whoop, didn't want to do that. Come on, get off of there. Oh, it's not moving for me. There we go. So there's a 1/4, but it says it is 1/2. So let's go one more. And then I need to move this so that it is 1/2 inch away from the top. So let me make sure that is 2 inches. That's 2 inches. That is 1 inch. That's 2 inches. 2.5 inch away. Line that up to 0.
I'm not doing this, Ms.
Did you get it?
I always get an F when I do that.
Honey, no, you'll get something if you do it. And I'm making a video.
I always get an F when I do something.
Honey, you're gonna try for me. Check all your dimensions, make sure they're right. Make sure your distances are correct. And it's supposed to be 1.5 inches up from the bottom. Oh, the center's supposed to be 1.5 inches. Sorry. So that's going to be 1.25 inches right there. So when working with cylinders, when working with a circle and a cylinder, something I forgot to mention and I just made a mistake about is you've got to make sure that you're going from the center diameter. So see how this arrow and this measurement is going to the center to the crosshairs? So it's from the center to the edge is 1/2 inch. So since the whole diameter is 1/2 inch and we cut the circle in half, that means our crosshairs, our center is going to be what? 1/4 from either edge. So you got to take your math into consideration.
Well, it's guess.
So now we have our holes in here. We have our empty spaces already set, but they don't look like through holes yet.
Gotta do mine, right?
On your computer, I don't know, I can't tell.
Hold on. Oh,
If you're on a desktop, just click and drag with your mouse, click in a corner, drag, highlight the entire thing, and then click the group button. And now, you got to do what I just did. So now, I have 2 through holes right here. I have 2 through holes, and if I adjust it to look at the corner where I can see the isometric view of
are we doing it again?
the top, the front, and the right, I can see that my shape looks like the picture. If we were in on shape, we would be able to have the measurements show up, and we'd be able to match the measurements on our printout. Again, on a desktop, just click with your mouse, put it up in the white space someplace, and draw this invisible box over it by click and drag, just like you're doing a snippet, just like you're doing a cut and paste. Okay, in snippet. Let it go, and then group. There you go. There's my holes.
How did you do it?
When you're done,
Trey trying to go over and cheat to see how to do this shit.
when you're done, I will tell you this right now. I will give you, if you do all 3 of these shapes, you will get an extra 10 points for each shape done correctly.
How would you make it see through?
You highlight, look at my screen. You put your mouse up here, up above someplace, click, hold down the left click and drag. Make a box, it'll highlight everything, and then you click this one right here, the group. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. To submit your work, you go to send to, this top one, picture of your design. Before you send me your design, click up here in your title. You're going to change the name. You're going to put your last name, your first initial, what drawing you did. If you did all 3, do all. You're going to do this for each one. Drawing 3, and then your class period. It'd help if you had your date in there too. So your last name, your first initial, what drawing which one? Drawing 3, drawing 1, drawing 2. Your class period, this is A1. If you're in B5, it'll be B5. If you're in B6, you'll do B6. And then today's date, the date you did it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, just a second. Then you're going to go to send to. Then you're going to go to send to. You're going to download the picture just by clicking that. If you're on a desktop, your downloads will show up here. If you're on a Chromebook, your downloads will show up down here. And then once you have your download, when you submit it to Google Classroom, this is what you're submitting. It's a .png, it's a picture file. And that is how you submit your Tinkercad work. So you have your drawing in here with all 3 items. You have a what do I need to do when I'm using CAD software list of events. And don't forget, I'll give you an extra 10 points for every shape. If you chose shape 1, if you do drawing 2 and drawing 3, you'll get 10 points extra for each one of those drawings that you do over the one required. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop this recording and y'all can finish working on your designs.